absolutely ferocious defense. Holy shit. This is a battle. I fucking love it. But as I say that, Alrighty. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. We have an excellent matchup here for you guys today. We are, of course, streaming the 18v18 tournament. Of course, hosted by my man Abanus. Of course, I am Colonel Matthews with the 10th Mountain Division. And just like the name suggests, it is 18v18. Infantry only, no tanks, no commander abilities, none of that crazy stuff. But I'm very, very looking forward to this matchup. We have TL versus OPBHB. And also, joining me on today's cast is the very lovely organizer of all of this, Abanus himself. So, Abanus, how you doing, my man?
I'm doing great, and I'm thrilled to be on a U.S. time zone stream. I'm doing a lot of EU ones, so I'm happy to be on an NA one. So this is great.
Oh yeah, my man Doss Alberg, he's putting you through the ringer.
Well, I asked to be with him, but yeah,
Hey,
it's fun doing the EU stuff.
oh yeah, I mean Doss Alberg, fantastic caster. I love his casts. But yeah, like you said, NA time zone, NA East time zone. Of course, it's like 9 p.m. here on the East Coast. Well, almost 9 p.m. But like I said, we have two NA teams going against each other, TL versus OPBHB. Before I get into the teams, though, I would like my man Abanus to kind of describe like the outlook and how this tournament's going to play. Because this is a little bit different than other How Let Loose competitions. So,
Sure.
Abanus, tell me about 18v18s.
Yeah. So for anyone watching 18s for the first time, or maybe you've heard me before, I'll tell you the spiel. So 2 years ago, the Hell Let Loose training camp decided that we wanted to come up with some kind of system to scrim each other with that would really work on gunplay. And so over the course of about 2 months, we worked out a rule set, a pretty rudimentary rule set, and we put together an 18v18 tournament using that rule set. It was the Hell Let Loose International Cup back in 2020 in the summer. We invited 12 teams to compete. We had a pretty successful run. It was a lot different back then, though. There was no admin cam in 2020. There was limited ability to show what this format actually was. So we did the best that we could. Um, and then it went on hold for pretty much a whole year while we waited for admin cam to get rolled out. Admin cam got released. We came back last year with a 20 team tournament, which was the Hell Let Loose Summer Invitational, named after my good friend Godson from Hell Let Loose Training Camp. And we did a crazy double elimination tournament that, we played well over 90 total matches. And we really kind of got the rule set to a place where we felt comfortable bringing the format forward into like a more established setting. And then I had real life stuff happen to me with my job that was like caused me to be extremely busy, took on some additional responsibility there. So I was gone starting in the fall. And then I've been waiting and waiting and hoping to, bring back 18s in some capacity. And my life kind of changed in the last month or two, and I got a new job and finally had some time to come back and put this together. So was approached by a few people, and great people like Froggers and Tom and Corsphere and all these great guys that have helped me build 18s over the course of the last 2 years. And we brought the format back and we went all in. And when I say all in, we went like all in. This is a season. We're calling it season 0. And by the end of November, in this format alone, just in the season, there will be 120 matches.
Damn.
So there's a lot of volume, there's a lot of play, and it's going to be really, really fun. And it's a format that's really all about gun skill. It's all about how do you move as a squad, how do you pick your targets, how do you make the decisions in the moment as a squad, as an individual, to really influence the cap. We're fighting over one individual sector, and it's really just like a just super high intensity match. And I will tell you, with these two teams on the field today, this is going to be sweaty. This is going to be real sweaty.
Yeah, and it looks like we have a live time. Currently 59 minutes on the clock. They said live time's going to be at 55. So we got about 4 minutes till kickoff, folks. But yeah, dude, I mean, excellent story. I know like I said, we've teamed up with 20th for the HCA in our competitive stuff. I know they used to be like really balls deep in 18v18s back in the day.
I would say they still are. They're
Yeah,
definitely one of the top teams still. I would say they're very, very strong.
yeah, and like how we met them actually. So they reached out to us. Of course, like I said, I'm the head of 10th Mountain, and they reached out to us. Brought us the format, the rule set, all that good stuff. And we actually played on the point that we're going to see today, which is Train Station on Carentan. And I kind of did my research beforehand. I saw that they had won it back in 2020. So I knew we had a bit of an uphill climb, and we fought them pretty hard and ended up losing, but I believe both rounds went to overtime, so it was close. And ever since then, we've been tight with 20th, so obviously I'm kind of rooting for them. But they're not playing today. TL and OPBHB are playing today, and as you said, it is going to get super sweaty. Two of the higher elite clans of Hell Let Loose, in my humble opinion. Abinus, I'm going to put the ball in your court. If you had to pick who you think is favored in this matchup, who do you think that would be?
So on the risk of someone claiming rigged at the end of this stream, I will tell you that I won't pick a winner, but I'll highlight what I think is working in each team's advantage.
Yeah, that's why I said who do you think's favored? I don't want to put
Yeah.
you like totally on the spot, but like
Yeah. So let's start with TL, who are definitely heavyweights in HLL competitive. There's no other way of saying that. They are established, organized, really strong shooters. Have a great group of just tactical minds that understand how to get around the map and really make the most happen. And so I think TL has a lot of experience in this format. There are former members of the Hell Let Loose training camp and then the camp that are playing for this TL team. One of them, Soviet Slug, is shouting me out right now and asking me to have his children.
birth his kids.
I think TL brings like a ton of experience and really has just that added repertoire of just being like, what will they bring to the table? On the flip side, the Outpost and the Balehay boys are equally, in my opinion, experienced in Hell Let Loose. I mean, they got a ton of high-level guys. A lot of them are former NPA, former Team Dicks. Madcap, who's helping run that team, is someone who's very established in the scene and has been doing comp for quite a while. I think they've got great leadership over there. I think they're really strong shooters as well. And I am interested to see if OP and BHB will be able to keep up with TL shooters, and will they be able to keep up with TL's movement? I fully expect TL to be moving around this map quickly and really making it tough for OP to get settled in really any position.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. I think it's going to be a little bit closer than everybody thinks. But we are 15 seconds away from game time, so I'm going to switch over the screen to what we got going on in battle. 10-second countdown. I guess if I were to put my money on it, I'd say TL as well, but I think OPBHB is going to make this one really close.
Yeah, I mean, this is a Group A matchup. These are definitely established, high-quality teams in the competitive scene. That's why they're starting in Group A in our format. So there's no doubt in my mind that this match could certainly go either way. I'm just, here we go. I'm excited to see this. So we've got TL is German Axis.
Yeah, they're Axis. They're currently the guys in blue, racing across the left side of my screen right now. Looks like they're kind of favoring a bit of a northern approach, really trying to get control of like the actual town area. And then you got OPBHB kind of mirroring that, but putting a little bit more emphasis to the south. We could see like Heebs and Skiz and company kind of pushing along the southern map border with some others.
Yeah, it looks like slightly more concentration on the TL side, a little bit wider on the OP side, but I think that's just due to the natural kind of topography of this one. I will tell you that the buildings on this map will be fought over very heavily. This is one of my favorites to cast on. I think Trade Station has got some of the most unique geography in like all of Hell Let Loose with the trains running through it. It's a very interesting point, and yeah, this one should be good.
Yeah, we're already seeing some rockets come out. I think a couple guys from TL already went down. They probably have outposts and stuff getting ready to, replenish those numbers. Indeed, they do. We got Dog, Charlie, and Baker squad, because I took Abel as a tank squad. But yeah, seeing a lot more concentration from TL around the strong point itself, while OPBHB is kind of spread out a little bit more. We only see a couple guys. Like there's like, 3 guys completely surrounding Bloody Nine down to the south of the map. But that Bloody Nine's the only dude that's not anywhere near the strong point, it looks like.
Yeah, so I see 2 different strategies getting played out here. So OP and BHB almost seems willing to cede the circle right now, and they are more focused on getting control of the wider map to try and enable a wide flank in behind TL and threaten their outposts. So already it looks like OP and BHB are kind of playing a long game, and it is a 30-minute match, so you've got time. But it looks like the circle itself has, I don't want to say been seeded, I don't think that's the right word, but maybe like a tactical decision has been made that, let's not fully contest the circle. Let's use our manpower out on the sides, really try and influence the flank. And they are dropping some players out on the flank. So,
yeah, like my man Shadow of Death just went down, so Lucky spawning down here, same with Draysky way down to the south. But yeah, we can see OPBHB kind of going for more of a map control game, while TL is going more for, let's go straight for the point with numbers. And it looks like the cab is about to go TL's way right at the start.
So here's a critical moment. So now OP and BHB have to reset their outposts without their squad leaders dying to maintain their current positions.
Right.
I am not in admin cam with you, but I would look. It looks like I see all the squad leaders up. I think they're okay. We'll check in a little bit.
Yeah, we see Dyslexic over here, Veni Vici a little bit to the north, and they still have Keebs down to the south. So we will see some OP resetting probably.
Yeah, it is interesting though. I mean, if you zoom out a little bit and we just get a full picture, of everything that's going on here, you will see really that OP and BHB has kind of allowed TL to take that kind of inner triangle where the circle is on train station, and they're just kind of content right now to kind of almost use it as a kill box. It almost seems like, and they are really making sure, and they're keeping 3 or 4 guys down there on the south side. They really seem to be making sure that no one from TL is able to get around them, which they have this great hill advantage on their side that allows them to see down extremely well. They've got a whole squad up there. So it looks like they are playing a long game. They're trying to prevent TL from getting to the back line.
Yeah, and my only concern with that is by giving up this area down here, I mean, we only really see, like, Sun Litzy down here, Pope Vin. Like, they're kind of thin, so if TL were to mass their troops, like, get Random and, like, Zephoid and Coltrane and Sharon Needles, pushing really hard down the railroad tracks, I have a feeling they could kind of make a play and burst through OPBHB.
I agree, and I am a little surprised, actually, that these players that have been on the inside of the triangle, looks like those players had to reset no outposts,
Yeah,
so that answers that question.
Yeah, they did not get their outposts up.
So, but it is surprising that these 2 players on the inside of the triangle, I think that's Cafe and a guy with a name that I can't read.
Cafe de Mocha and Atrocity.
Atrocity. It is, they've kind of just been holding ground in the triangle. You are right that this actually almost looks like a fairly large TL tactical mistake to not push higher up. Now, they do drop that player just now, and it looks like they are doing it now, but you're right that they almost were giving OP space to come back. And now we're seeing it looks like TL is starting to sweep down to the south to try and clear this flank position that OP has. So this is pretty interesting already. Really, I'm fascinated by the start.
Yeah, and from one thing I've noticed with 18v18s, playing in them and watching them, like, teams that can maximize momentum, like, whenever you notice, like, OPs in front of you have gone down, or let's say you just cap the point, like, naturally wiping out outposts, when teams are able to flip that into momentum and start gaining the map, like, start capturing ground, slowly inching their way closer to, like, the front of the capture area, teams that can catapult themselves into doing that tend to have a little bit more success, just in my observation.
I think that's a great observation, and I agree. And one of the secrets I'll let all the viewers in, one of the secrets of the 18s format is that it's right in the name. There's only 18 players. So if you, as a single player, drop 4 or 5 players yourself in a short period of time, your squad drops 4 or 5 players in a short period of time, you have a significant opening. That is a lot of eyes not on the field for the other team. So you're absolutely right in seizing on the momentum that you generate from killing enemies is really big. Like, you need to not just stop. Like, you need to keep moving when you get kills, keep gaining ground. That is how you really win these matches. And it looks like right now the TL is starting to get a little bit more aggressive, and they are starting to push out and maybe try and create those spaces for themselves.
Yeah, my man Coltrane just went down up ahead. There is a pretty good amount of OP guys, like pretty much an entire squad right in front of us. Along the northern part of the cap zone, just north of the railroad tracks. Looking kind of at the rest of the point, OP BHB, they still have firm possession of the mansion area. Like, TL really hasn't pushed out there and challenged them. But as far as like the immediate area around the capture zone, TL is just not giving this up whatsoever. So it's...
Yeah. I have to say, this is actually a very disciplined... I'm going to talk about what OP and BHB is doing really quick. This is really disciplined, and I have yet to really see teams do what they are doing right here. I think on the outside, you would look at this and say, like, okay, TL is firmly in control. You know, they are, you know, clearly got the circle. They're pushing down the railroad tracks. It looks good, and I agree. I think TL is certainly in control of this match. But what OP and BHB is basically saying by holding onto this mansion on the south side with a full squad is that, like, you are not going to box my team out. Like, it's not gonna happen. So you're gonna need to think about winning without boxing me out. Now, TL is certainly looking to box out their opponents. They're Random, one of the squad leaders for TL, basically invented the box out. So they know that they really need to push OP all the way out of the sector to really feel safe. And right now, OP is doing a great job of just staying in the match. And they are playing it out for space. They're looking for TL to make some kind of mistake out on the outside here, maybe get a couple players through, get a couple outposts. They're trying to force TL to make some kind of error and, you know, try and capitalize it, is what it looks like.
Yeah, and this is something I preach to my guys. You know, whenever we try to do 18v18s, you know, map control is always very important with, you know, if you're able to kind of form, like, even if it's not like a cohesive front line, if you're able to always have kind of guys like spread out and in space, you know, and kind of keep pressure on the enemy, eventually you're going to find some kind of hole. You're going to find some spot, you know, maybe you kill a couple guys, you know, along a hedgerow and you're able to get some bodies through. So, like, this disciplined approach by OPBHB, even though some guys are getting killed, like, while they're trying to do this, eventually they might find a crack in TL. However, watching a lot of old school TL matches, like especially like last year's seasonal, TL is a very tough nut to crack. Like, we saw Esprit de Corps get stymied by them on North Pass and Hurricane Forest. We saw WTH get stymied by them on WN7 and Utah Beach. I mean, of course, those are full matches. They're not 18v18s, but, you know, TL is one of those teams where, you know, they get their defensive lanes and they know how to just hold out. But OPBHB, I think they're playing this right. They just need to probably get a little bit more aggressive and, you know, really try to force some of these holes.
Agreed, and they really just also need to be winning more of these trades. They're just not winning some of the gun battles right now. And if they could start winning a few more of these gun battles, they would be in much better shape in this match. And now you are seeing chicken and waffles from TL. Oh, yep.
Oh,
Caster
curse.
Curse.
Yeah.
Yeah, there it is. But, you know, it's... I think, right, if I'm thinking about playing TL in this competition, you know what you're getting into, right? You know this is a very good team. So I think OP and BHB, Outpost and Bale Hey Boys, are yeah, I think the disciplined approach is the way they thought that they could find an opening. Maybe realizing that, you know, trying to outshoot these guys 1-to-1. Could you try to do it? Certainly. And you know, in certain matches, will you do it? Yes. But statistically, is it likely? I don't know. And so they're like, what would be another way to try and win this game without purely trying to outshoot the opponent? And the answer is sit on top of the mountain, on top of the hill, in the mansion, looking down and basically preventing the enemy from really establishing the line that they want. And it's basically just a way to keep OP and BHB like within striking distance as they try to figure out like where is the hole in this match.
Yeah, and quick correction. I guess it's the Bay Hale boys.
Oh, sorry. My
Uh,
apologies.
no,
My apologies.
no, it's all gravy. But yeah, still OPBHB. That's why I never say it because I know I'm gonna screw it up. Um, but yeah, it's TL. I mean, like you hit the nail right on the head. You know what you're getting into when you're playing TL. Like TL is extremely disciplined. TL has damn good shooters. They know how to take ground and how to hold that ground. And usually in like competitive matchups, like they're not the team that does like flashy garrisons and like all of a sudden like half the team's behind you and that stuff. Like they literally form a line and they just push. And you just see like teams just crumple in front of them because they're very disciplined in their lanes, and eventually they find holes, and eventually they just overwhelm, outflank and outmaneuver the enemy. And in 18v18s, we're seeing them kind of flex their defensive muscle here. Because, I mean, with Train Station being as it is for the Allied side, there's a lot of open sight lines that these guys have to push down just to even approach the point. And, you see guys like, Cafe Demoka and Timmy Lee and a silly little seal before he just went down. But, like, really forcing OPBHB to earn that ground against a damn good team. And that's probably how this round's going to play out, honestly. I mean, I see this going, unless OPBHB starts like dominating some gunfights, this is probably going to be the round.
Yeah, I think there's actually been a little bit of a change, just as you've been talking about the way this match is kind of going. It almost seems like TL is realizing like what they're playing into. Like they're probably wondering, why is there still a squad of guys sitting on the mansion? Like they need to come and take the point. So why are they still there? And I think maybe they're realizing, like, are they baiting us? Is this the idea? Is OP and BHB trying to bait a bunch of players to go deal with them on the mansion, so that way it mixes up the lines and maybe creates an opening? It's interesting. Like I actually feel like a decent amount of planning went into what OP is doing. I rarely see teams hold long positions like this when they don't have the circle. So major props to them. This is really good discipline. Right now, that line on that hedge line actually looks fairly decent for OP. I mean, they're not that far from the circle. A couple of really, timely kills they could find themselves in.
Yeah, I mean, we're seeing this nice little line form right along this road right here. That's pretty much completely occupied by BHB and OP guys. And it looks like TL doesn't really have a lot of dudes between them and the point. Like Soviet Slug, So Lucky, Boss Man kind of on a flank. But, if OPBHB is going to make some ground, this is possibly the spot to do it.
What do we start? 55 minutes in game? We're 50.
Yeah, we're 15 minutes about, so the round is just about halfway over. So
yeah, this has been an interesting one. It's
certainly. I also see in the chat, her 10th was scared to join the turdy. No, we just wanted to sign up too late. By the time I was getting ready to fill out an app, you guys already had 20 teams. But
yeah,
sorry.
we did fill up.
I just shut up the haters.
No, I mean, we did fill up fast, and I'll talk about it a little bit towards the end of the stream, but there will be future competitions in 18s. There's going to be a tournament in the winter. So for teams that are watching this, they're like, wow, I'd love to do this, or I'm interested in competing. You can hit me up on Discord. You can join our Discord. We're definitely looking for teams to compete in our winter tourney in January. So by all means, I have to just pivot back to the match though. I mean, like, seriously though, this is actually starting to get fairly interesting. Like TL is seeming to be unable to wedge this OP team out of their current positions. Like it looks like TL's maybe out shooting them, but OP is holding like this pretty nice positioning and is basically just kind of keeping TL unable to like break out away, if you know what I mean. Like they want to go all the way forward, but there's just enough pressure from OP and BHB right now that they just can't quite do that. And again, I think TL firmly in control. Something would have to change here for me to, go against that. But, they're staying in the match. And that's half of 18s is just staying in the match. Like find an opening. Sometimes it's just one guy that makes a play, gets an outpost, and it just completely changes everything that's going on. So good composure here from the OP and BHB boys. It's good stuff.
Yeah, it looks like their discipline is starting to pay off. They are getting some guys inching their way closer to the point. And that, I mean, that massive line that we saw from OP BHB along this road, they kind of got clapped a little bit, but you can see like they're not going anywhere. Like it's not like TL is able to like make them go away and like, you know, get more separation from the point. Like Pope Vin, I don't know if that's his entire name there, and Joe 0450, you know, these guys are just a thorn in the side right now.
Yeah, and you know, train station is one of those points where you can kind of like disappear. You know what I mean? Like if you just kind of slip through a line, you get a kill, and no one realizes that they move past, like you can kind of just make an opening. And right now, like a couple guys are doing that. And I am seeing some blue guys drop. I am still currently seeing some orange guys drop. But look at Pope. Pope right now is, how close is he to an outpost? He's got to be getting kind of close.
Yeah, so he's right there, right about this area. He is pushing towards Baker. We did see train station. It is getting contested there for a little bit.
Yeah, this is a pretty interesting move here. And it could cause like a little bit of brief panic on the TL side once they realize that a guy is back there. They might realize like, oh crap, did we miss a squad? Did an OP get placed? Like what happened? And so again, it's all about that line shifting. You just need someone who's at the front here to just turn around for 30 seconds if you're OP, right? And just that angle that's been hit, been getting hit at constantly with an MG. All of a sudden, that MG is pointing in a different direction, and all of a sudden, you maybe find a way in. Oh, he got
Streamer's curse at its maximum.
Its maximum.
I saw that dude running across the street, and I'm like, man, I got to zoom in right on him. That was our boy Joe. Man, that he almost made a play because, what is it? Yeah,
Dogs. He was close.
Yeah, Dog's outpost is literally right across the wall from where he got to. So like right.
It's interesting. If I were him though, I would have never tried to cross that street. I would have actually kept going east, like all the way to the back line, and then working my way up, checking for outposts as I come up. That would have been the play there, I think. It was still really, really good play from him. Like, he did a nice job getting established. And, you know, with what, we've got 11 minutes and change here. Like, at some point, this OP squad is going to have to come off that building, and they're going to have to press down. They can't stay there indefinitely. So that the clock is going to start ticking on them to start moving towards the point. I felt like the best opportunity for OP was right there. If he had maybe snagged an outpost or two, it would have really changed the match. But it looks like it's pretty much back to the stalemate we've had, most of the match.
Yeah, it looks like Alfredo and Timmy Lee, which I guess Timmy Lee looks like he plays for the Circle now. Interesting. But yeah, but it looks like TL's finally starting to break out a little bit with Alfredo and Timmy Lee. Oh, they're gonna run into Osama and Pope. I want to see this. Oh, Timmy Lee gets clapped. Alfredo's still up, though. I want to see how this shakes out.
Oh, I don't think he knows he's there.
He Yep, he's down. Oh, but he gets atrocity with the nade.
Yeah, it was a good nade.
But I guess with that play, if he could have gotten a grenade like over the wall, or had some kind of like explosive ordnance or something, because he is a rifleman, he has a couple grenades, but like, I kind of like that play because if he were able to wipe out an outpost, that's a squad, depending on where the squad lead's at, but like, that's a squad that has to somewhat reset. Whether, if the squad leader's still alive, obviously, yeah, you can just throw down another, but, that little moment of like hesitation and panic, I've noticed in 18s kind of goes a long way when people are like, oh shit, our outpost is gone.
Right. Yeah. Or I got killed next to the OP, and like stuff like that. It's just so high intensity that people, that there can be a little bit of panic, especially when you're winning a match like this. You're in the driver's seat like TL is. I have to say that this might be a blueprint. I'm curious to see if OP and BHB can actually pull this off. But this strategy that they've implemented here could be a blueprint for success as the allies on this point. There's a variety of ways to win in 18s, and there's certainly a very good way to win as the allies on this map. But the composure here has been really, really, really good. They've just been constant in getting to these spots, and we are seeing a large group of OP players get. Okay, this is interesting.
Yeah,
this is a lot. This is 7-8 guys right here.
Yeah, and they are clapping some cheeks. Gustaver and Osama, Sunlit C, Veni Vici, Pope Vin, Raised Country, although one guy just died. That kind of sucks. 2 guys just died. But yeah, I mean, could make something happen. TL looks like they're responding pretty quickly. like Soviet Slug and Cafe de Mocha, like immediately pushing out to this area.
Yes, yeah, good recognition from them.
I will say though, one thing I will critique OPBHB on is I've only seen one machine gunner this entire game.
It's a good point. I was thinking the same thing. I was like, where are the MGs for this team? I feel like they could have utilized MGs a little bit more than they have used them. It is interesting.
One. Yeah, but like I always felt like with these, areas that the enemy has to cross or has to control, should be getting liquidated by machine gun fire. Especially if you have open ground like this where like your infantry is having trouble getting across. Like just being able to suppress, machine gunners and riflemen that could potentially pick your guys off. Turning roads and stuff into kill zones and random, he just snuck back.
Oh, he was looking for the outpost. Yeah, he did not miss it by much. Random getting very close right there.
He might have heard it and he might be telling his boys like where it's at, but
yeah, it's deep enough though that I'm not really sure they can do much about it unless they really push out.
Right. Because it's like
I think
right on the other side of this little shed where he died. Yeah, Madcap just spawned on it, and he was a machine gunner. Now he's in any tank.
So. Yeah, the role selections have been interesting. So what we need to watch now, and this is going to be the key moment. It's like I'm thinking about hockey, right? When you're down by a goal, you need to get a goal, you pull the goalie, right, for the extra man. Yep. When does OP and BHB pull this squad off the mansion and send it to the point? Because they're running out of time, and I think they're maybe waiting for the 5-minute mark to do that. But I probably would do it a little bit sooner. Give yourself a little bit more time. The key for OP right now is just, the periphery play has been good. I love the concept of what they've tried to do. And honestly, to an extent, it has done its job. It's prevented TL from getting positioning behind them, right? So definitely like job well done there as a strategy. It just hasn't been able to influence their ability to actually capture the zone and critical decision coming up soon here.
Yeah, and I think Bloody Nine, So Lucky, and Dark Ninja, the guys we do see to the south, I think they are perfectly cool with just parking it right in this area and letting OPBHB cross, open, kind of uncovered, unconcealed ground to get to them. Because, like, we've never really seen them, like, maybe once kind of push up a little bit, but OPBHB has made zero progress in this area, and I think it's because these guys are just anchored so hard. And they do have machine gun support, Draysky, Alfredo, So Lucky. Like, I think they literally have a squad just anchored right in this area this entire match to counter this.
This has been a really interesting case study in like where to put your players. And now look, okay, so we got big concentration here now.
Oh yeah.
That's a lot of OP players. I gotta be careful with grenades though. One grenade could spell doom here. But that's a lot of players, a lot of smoke. Okay, so now let's see. Will those backline players that are watching the OP guys at the top pull back to the zone here as OP now is breaking into the circle and actually contests there for a second? This is a really good play by OP and BHB.
Oh yeah, is a silly little seal gonna clap some cheeks? Because he kind of stymies the push, although Pope kind of gets him. Maybe they're gonna get something to get up over this wall. Don Vice goes down. But yeah, some
damage might be done here. I mean, the line might be in a small panic right now. They're going to see this capture progress. Keep an eye on those players at the top. So Lucky, those guys that have been watching the flank, they might start dropping back to the circle as this goes contested. That might create an opening on the south side. OP and BHB basically has to send it right now. They've created an opening. If they don't go full throttle, they're not going to win this match.
Oh, guaranteed. I agree. And it looks like So Lucky and Chicken and Waffles are staying somewhat disciplined, keeping their eyes to the south just in case OPBHB tries making a play. But, I mean, TL still has all 3 of their outposts up. They haven't lost anything. They have plenty of guys in the hard cap. I mean, it's going to be tough for OPBHB to dig this out right now. Hell of a response from TL.
Yeah, the reaction has been good from TL. They've stayed disciplined this entire match. They've held really, really good angles that have made it nearly impossible for OP to really push. But what OP has done, I mean, in the last 10 minutes, OP has shifted the line closer and closer and closer to the circle, and now it's pretty much on the circle. So, I mean, there has been progress, actually, from OP on the train station itself, which is really impressive given the lines of sight that TL has had on them this entire match. And we are now seeing these players that were up at the mansion, they are starting to make their way down, it looks like.
Yeah, I mean, Infidel, Keebs is still kind of up there, but maybe he's trying to keep chicken and waffles honest. But yeah, I mean, this has gotten a lot more interesting, and there's only 4 minutes left. I mean, of course, overtime can be forced, but
I think.
I'm sorry.
Oh, go ahead.
Well, I guess what I was gonna say is like OPBHB, like the patience is finally, finally paying off a little bit for him.
I have to say that this is one of the most composed plays by a team that knew that they might initially not be successful to turn it into some kind of success. This is really cool to watch. I love watching this match. This has been such a fascinating watch. I feel like right now OP is purely trying to force overtime. That is their objective right now. They're like, we need to get this match into overtime at minimum, pick up a point. I think that's what they're thinking about. Obviously they want to win, but I think they're like, look, we got to get OT here, minimum, because if they lose this match, they're going to go 0-2 in this round. And it gets that much harder to stay in Group A with 2 losses. Pretty much means you have to win out against 82nd and Core, which would be a tall order.
Buddy.
So it's an interesting scenario, and I think OP may be realizing that they need to just go for it here, get overtime at minimum, pick up the point. But maybe they get lucky. Maybe they go all the way. Maybe they flip this somehow in the last little bit.
Yeah, and I'm just kind of zooming in on the little gunfights here because this is like really the meat and potatoes of 18v18s. But I mean, TL's response, they did clap a lot of OP cheeks down here. And it looks like Shadow of Death and Cafe de Mocha getting dangerously close to this outpost right here.
The body count on this particular corner in this match is immense. Oh, yeah, the amount of players that have died right here is like well over 100. It's really been bloody in that spot, and it kind of in our testing on this point, we found that corner is just like insane, and it has definitely lived up. It's a hell corner for sure.
Yeah,
Shadow
Death.
Nice, yeah. Ooh, some really nice shots here.
This dude's an absolute stud.
I mean, you just see the
Well, I mean, you run headfirst into 3 guys looking at you already. That's pretty much what's going to happen. Although, did he get the outpost? He did. My man still spawned on it. Must have got like the 3-second.
Yeah, but that could be a humongous setback for OP with that OP down. And now, I mean, I am surprised. I mean, this squad on the south for OP has got to come in. Oh no, they moved it.
Oh, it looks like it just blew up. Uh-oh. Oh, no, it's still there. There it is right there.
Yeah, it's...
Did the grenade get it? No?
Yes.
Yeah?
No. Yep.
And
that might be the end for
that
OP
might be the dagger right there.
That could be the dagger of this match. But OP's, they didn't have a choice. They had to go for it. They had to get aggressive. They had to play something that was really high because they were just out of time. I will say that I feel like these players on the south side just had to pivot faster. Like with only 35 seconds to go, I feel like they've waited too long to come down. I think if they had come down 4 or 5 minutes ago when we saw that initial breakthrough, we actually might have seen OP like maybe flip the point. Like there was an opening there for about 60 seconds or so, and I feel like it just wasn't seized on.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. There was a time where they did have some bodies on the point. I mean, of course, this isn't competitive. It's not that you can have guys like flopping outposts and stuff, but they had their chance. And, to see Keebs and like 50, still down there, not anywhere really near the strong point. And I guess the round's over.
Yep, that is the end of the match. So TL picks up the win here, and that was a great game. I mean, that was like very, very well played from both teams. I do think that if OP and BHB had shifted that squad faster, when they review this tape, they're gonna look at that and be like, oh wow, we were actually really close. I don't think they realized just how close they were.
Yeah, and I think like one thing that was absolutely huge there was when it came down to crunch time, TL absolutely dominated gunfights. Like seeing, Shadow of Death like just clap cheeks, Boss Man was making plays, Chicken and Waffles, Bloody Nine, like guys were when the water got really hot, those guys stepped up and made like the absolute most of the moment.
I completely agree. I mean, TL definitely showed their chops here in this match, and definitely demonstrated why they are such a force in HLL competitive. I mean, this was a really strong showing. I mean, these kill counts are excellent. Like really good showing
Yeah.
from TL. But I do want to give a shout out to OP and BHB on a really cool strategy. I loved the concept of what they were trying to do, and it was at times pretty effective. They just couldn't quite get the execution when it really mattered. But I think other teams watching this who will play on Train Station and maybe are going to play a team that they might get outshot by might look at this match and say, this is a blueprint for how to win in that scenario. I think it was a
Hell
really,
yeah.
really cool idea.
So are they only playing one round?
Correct. This is a best of
Okay.
one, so it is just 30 minutes and out in the season. In our tournaments is when we do best of threes.
Okay. Yeah, I was curious because like I know like anytime I play these, it's always been like at least 2 rounds. Um. So yeah, uh, OPBHB coming a lot closer than I think they knew, as you pointed out. A little shift, a little bit more emphasis on the attack, like when they were finally building momentum that TL was kind of robbing from them for the entire match. Um, it's and I said it before. It comes down to maximizing momentum, and when you finally have footholds and you finally have position and you're finally like killing enemies and taking out outposts, like how do you respond? Like, are you taking ground? Are you making the absolute most of your situation? And I don't think OPBHB did a great job of that. And TL was kind of slow, but like I said, whenever really came to crunch time, TL stepped up big time. So
Absolutely. TL in the moments that mattered in this match got tons of kills and completely broke apart the attacking motions from OP and BHB. And like that, with a minute to go when that outpost went down right next to the point, which at that point OP had no choice but to place it there with the amount of time left on the clock. That was the dagger. And that, it's not always easy to do that, to dagger a match like that right at the end. It sometimes can go in the opposite direction, and you choke at the final second. But TL was really consistent throughout, definitely showed up today, and is a really, really solid win.
yeah, so like you said, I think this is going to be a case study for teams that are playing on Train Station, like how to deploy. Um, I like the initial strategy from OPBHB. Being wide, trying to control the four grid squares in their entirety, kind of. But there comes a time where you have to collapse in and you have to, constrict and swallow the enemy while they're like capping the point, while they're holding like the vital area. And it really took them a long time to do that. Like the last 5 minutes was like when it really got hairy for TL. But
Yeah,
yeah,
it was close, but not quite enough. Like they
yeah,
were there and then just couldn't quite execute at the end. But the concepts and the ideas were there. They had the right idea of how to do it. So major props there.
yeah. No, I agree. But yeah, folks. I guess that was it. So TL versus OPBHB. The match pretty much lived up to the hype. Went pretty similarly to how I thought it would have went. I thought it would have been just a little bit closer. Maybe OPBHB putting a little bit more pressure on. But I think we're seeing the strategy involved with Train Station on full display by the Allies in that case. Um, but my man, any final thoughts? Anything you want to span upon this match?
I think the only thing I'd want to say is, Group A is filled with teams that are established forces in the game. And I don't want anyone to be fooled by the fact that OP and BHB now have 2 losses. They are a very good team. That was a great effort, and for anyone from that group watching, like I think they'll watch this and say, "Yeah, we were there. We just couldn't quite get it." And they're definitely no easy opponent for just about anybody, and they are a team that will, I imagine, we will be seeing in the playoffs once we get there in November. TL absolutely showed why they are perhaps the top team in North America and Hell Let Loose. Um, and they started off their season 0 with a bang today.
Yeah, I think Esprit de Corps might have something to say about that, but uh, I think TL, and I said this earlier. TL are kind of masterminds of like defensive warfare in Hell Let Loose. We saw it in the seasonal last year. We saw it, um, in the HCA. How they were able to like hold out against teams that are supposed to be superior. And I think TL kind of flexed that defensive muscle today. And, OPBHB just had to be a little bit more aggressive, but they just couldn't pull it off. But
Yeah. And, to your comment, TL and ESPT will play tomorrow night.
yeah.
So we'll learn a lot there about about that comment. I said one of, not the, but yeah, I think the group that is Group A is really going to be interesting to see. And once we get to the next phase, we'll obviously shuffle the groups again. The bottom two teams in Group A will drop to Group B. The top two teams in Group B will move up to Group A, and then we'll set the schedules again, and we'll do this all over again. So, these are certainly two teams that are going to be staying towards the top of the ladder, I would anticipate.
Yeah. So I guess before we wrap this up, do you have any like amazing matchups that are coming right around the corner? I know you just said TL versus Esprit. Anything big happening this weekend other than that?
Oh, we got a lot of matches this weekend. There's a lot of interesting ones. On Saturday, we've got 7 matches, 8 matches, and on Sunday we've got 6 with I think 2 more in the cooker. So there's going to be like 16 matches this weekend.
Oh yeah.
So a lot is going to happen. We're going to get our first Group B matchup on Saturday between one CDO and one AD. So that's one I'm interested in. Let's see. We've got 82nd is going to be playing ESPT on Saturday afternoon, US time zone. So that's definitely one to watch. And then the team I want to shout out, Valkyria, who played in our opening match uh, on Tuesday against Legion X. They will be playing 2 games back to back on Sunday against 79th and then 75th. And they are, I think, one of the teams towards the bottom of the ladder to watch. They had a pretty impressive showing in the first match. And there's one other thing I wanted to mention, Matthews, if you don't
What's
mind me.
up? Hit me with it.
So some of you might have seen that we just uh, released a charity hoodie that we're doing for HLL 18v18, and you can go buy it. I can give Matthews the link if he wants to post it in stream. It's up to him. But we posted it out there. It's for a great cause. It's a great charity that's been doing a lot of good work in conflict zones, dealing with food security. And we wanted to create a really cool hoodie that people could get. That's like HLL merch. That's 18v18 merch and have the money go to a good cause. So let me grab this link and I'll
Yeah.
send it over to you if you want to drop it in your chat for people if they're interested.
Yeah, I'll drop it in chat, and then I'll also be posting this on YouTube. I'll put it in the. I'll probably put it as a pinned comment, so it's like out of the description. People can like see it right away.
Awesome,
But
man. Thank you.
yeah,
I
dude.
appreciate that.
No, I mean, hey, it's all for a good cause, and if people want to come, check out my stuff, they might as well actually use that time for something productive other than watching me. But yeah, so Abinus, like, not only putting together badass tournaments, but also doing stuff for the greater good. So yeah, throw me
Thanks,
that
man.
link.
I
I'll throw it
appreciate
up.
that.
Yeah,
Yeah,
no
I
problem.
threw it to you in Discord. And I hope we'll have you back for more 18s matches soon, Matthews. This is a great stream. Looking forward to
Oh,
doing more.
dude, for sure. Like, so I'm gonna slap it. Of course, I have a 15-minute delay, so people are gonna be like, "What the hell's going on?" But but yeah, I mean, if I'm free this weekend, I know this week we're actually playing in an Aussie tournament against OPBHB on Saturday, Saturday night. So I'll look around the schedule. I'll see if there's anything this weekend I could like hop on. But yeah, this
Sure.
was cool. I mean, like I said, we in 10th Mountain have played in a few of these, quite a few of these. So like the format's pretty neat, and seeing two like really good teams go at it, and like the patience and the wit and the gunplay and the how it was all kind of coming together was like really interesting to see. But yeah, I mean, dude, thank you very much for letting me cast on these, and I'll definitely look forward to doing more in the future for sure.
Absolutely. It was a
So
pleasure, man. Glad to be here.
yeah. So, anyways, ladies and gentlemen, looks like that'll be about it. Please put your hands together for my wonderful guest, Abinus. Like I said, the creator of this tournament, one of the masterminds behind putting it together, getting all the teams together. So I guess, any last words before we sign off?
I just hope people keep tuning in for more and more matches. And, I know I said at the beginning, we've got 120 matches. We've played 5, so 115 to go now. That's just in the season. Once we get to the playoffs, there's another 70. So there'll be almost 200 matches played by the time we get to the end of December. So plenty of content to come. I hope to see many of you there.
Damn. And of course, I'm going to try to cast as many of those as I can, anytime I'm free, anytime I'm able to. And of course, I am casting some seasonal stuff. I am going to be casting HCA when that pops back up. Maybe even some Aussie stuff in that tournament. But once again, man, thank you for joining me. You were a wonderful host. Definitely cool to get someone who really knows 18v18s in and out, since you kind of created the whole thing. But yeah, dude, you were an awesome guest, and thank you very much for joining me today.
You got it. Anytime.
But if you guys liked what you saw today, feel free to give a like and a subscription. Totally don't have to, but anything you guys do in support of me is very, very appreciated. And like I said, we'll have plenty more of this coming down the pike. So, I have been Colonel Matthews with the 10th Mountain Division, and this has been the Hell It Loose 18v18 tournament, TL versus OPBHB. Hopefully you guys enjoyed, and we will catch you guys next time. So, see you guys later.